This paparazzi disrespected Brad Pitt, but no one was ready for what he did next. Everything nearly spiraled out of control the moment Brad Pitt stepped out of his vehicle in New York. Cameras rushed in from every direction as photographers crowded the sidewalk, pressing so tightly around him that he could barely move forward. Flashbulbs popped inches from his face while reporters shouted questions over each other. At one point, he appeared to struggle just to walk through the wall of bodies, briefly pushing against some photographers before his security team forced their way into the chaos and pulled him away from the swarm. Moments like that have become almost routine for Pitt, but that encounter was still relatively mild compared to what happened years earlier. Long before that New York scene, a confrontation with photographers turned violent and left people bleeding. The clash happened at the couple's French estate, where Pitt and Angelina Jolie had been trying to escape the constant glare of cameras. The incident unfolded at Chateau Miraval. At the time, the world's attention on them had intensified even more after the birth of their twins, Knox Leon Jolie Pitt and Vivienne Marceline Jolie Pitt. When Jolie returned to Miraval with the newborns, the trip was done quietly and at night in an effort to avoid photographers. But the global demand for the first photos of the twins had reached extraordinary levels. Media outlets were reportedly offering more than $11 million for exclusive images of the babies. Any unauthorized photos taken by paparazzi could potentially ruin those deals, creating massive pressure on photographers to get the first shots. That pressure is what brought two paparazzi deep into the wooded hills surrounding the estate. According to security chief Tony Webb, the photographers had positioned themselves roughly 600 yards from the residence on a hill overlooking the property. Webb said the men had dressed in khaki and camouflage so they could blend into the landscape, while their equipment had also been camouflaged to avoid being spotted. Eventually, security personnel patrolling the property spotted the photographers moving through the wooded area. Guards quickly moved in to remove them from the land, but the situation escalated almost immediately. Instead of leaving, the photographers resisted. According to Webb, the confrontation turned chaotic in seconds. He later said the photographers went berserk, thrashing, kicking, and fighting with the guards, trying to escort them away from the property. During the scuffle, one security guard had his finger broken. Another was bitten hard enough that blood was drawn. One of the photographers involved was freelance lensman Luc Gorsolas. After the fight, he openly admitted that he had broken a guard's finger and bitten another during the confrontation. However, Gorsolas insisted he had acted in self-defense, claiming security guards used excessive force while removing him. Both sides described the clash as extremely violent. Gorsolas later said that during the struggle, he was pouring blood while trying to fend off the guards. Meanwhile, members of the security team were injured badly enough that doctors issued medical notes giving them several days off work. Amid the chaos, Pitt himself reportedly stepped in. According to Gorsolas, the actor came out once he learned photographers had been discovered hiding on the property and fighting with his security team. Gorsolas claimed Pitt was furious when he heard what had happened. The photographer later said Pitt confronted him directly and issued a blunt warning. "If you want war, you will get it," Pitt allegedly said during the tense exchange. For Pitt, the Miraval incident was only one moment in a much longer battle with paparazzi. Over the years, he has repeatedly spoken about how intrusive celebrity photographers can become, especially when children are involved. During an interview on Today, he openly expressed his frustration. "Let me be very blunt," Pitt said during the appearance. "I hate them. I hate these people. I don't understand that they do that for a living." He went on to describe situations where photographers climbed over walls wearing camouflage, hid in bushes near private homes, and shouted his children's names while trying to provoke reactions during everyday moments like taking kids to school. Even years later, Pitt still jokes about how relentlessly photographers follow him. During a podcast conversation with Leonardo DiCaprio and comedian Mark Maron, he joked that he probably remains constant trash mag fodder because of what he called the disaster of a personal life that tabloids love to dissect.